Hey everybody, welcome. Today we are going to paint a nice beach scene, hopefully with a nice Adirondack chair. Woo! Hopefully I'm going to edit this so that we can just zoom in on this part, but it's also possible that I don't know how to do that yet, so we'll see how it goes. All right. So the first thing we're gonna do is introduce you to my brushes. If you're watching this on camera, got it. If you're watching this on YouTube, like and subscribe, and go to our Patreon. There's a link in our bio. You should do that. There's all kinds of fun stuff. And if you're watching this on Patreon, welcome. Okay. Anyway, painting stuff. Okay, so these are my brushes. I name them because I can. So not that size matters, but we call this guy The Rock, like Dwayne The Rock Johnson. Yep, covers a lot of ground really quickly, good for long strokes. This one, same shape, little smaller. This one I'm calling the Magic Mike. Yep, a little more attention to detail in this brush. Yeah. This one, this nice round, medium-sized guy here, we call the Matthew McConaughey. I know, just slides right in there. All right, all right. Okay, and this one had another name, and then someone yelled Kevin Hart at one of my events, and now this is the Kevin Hart brush. That's right. Small but important. So, that said, put my guys down. We're using acrylic paint. Here we go. At some point, I'll probably put on makeup, but I'm not doing it right now because I just don't wanna. There's lots of noise pollution in my house today because you get me here. So I have dogs and kids and a fireplace and a husband that's lurking around here. Okay, so I have my nice paint palette and I have started with some white and some nice brown. I think it's a burnt sienna brown. So I'm going to put a little bit of white on my brush and then I'm just going to dab a little bit of this brown on here. So two at the same time. And we are just going to find our position. So if this is halfway, I'm going to go down a little bit. So like 1/3 of the way up, right? And we're just going to make a nice little line across. It's a squirrel. You can't catch it. It's in a tree. I tried to be encouraging to them, but I feel like it just makes them sadder if you give them the false hope. They're very small dogs. They can't get the squirrel, so. Realistic goals, guys. Realistic goals. All right, so I'm just continually adding more white and more brown, sort of putting that on. There's two ways that you can blend paint. One of them is on your paint palette. You get a very consistent color. The other way is doing it right on your canvas, and you get a lot of texture and variation, and that is what we are doing right now. All right, so add a little white, add a little brown. This is going to be, we are doing a public event at a taco place. And they wanted us to do a nice beach scene. So here we go. As I get toward the shore, I'm going to try to make it just a little bit lighter color. Add a little white right here. I'm going to overlap that later with my water just a little bit to give it that wet look. Ooh, this is a dry canvas. I probably should have prepped this canvas, gone over it with a little bit of water. I do not make my own canvases. I buy them pre-made. I'm actually using, I think Artist Loft brand. But if you look at our Amazon store, you can see some of the different brands that I like to use and that you can get too, but this is just a stretched canvas on wood stapled on. You can make these yourself if you're a super overachieving artist. I mean a rock star artist, or you can be like me and just buy them, because I buy them by the case because I teach this like it's my job. Okay, so I feel like I have some nice variations for my sand. Nice sandy area here. I'm going to rinse off my big brush. I have a nice big cup of water right here. I also have a paper towel for rinsing. Those of you who are eco-friendly can use a washcloth or something. Acrylic paint can stain, so don't use something that you love. I feel like I should pull my hair up. I don't know. Feeling hair conscious today. Do you guys have that? You don't care, right? You don't care what my hair looks like. You're here to paint. It's not all about me. All right, so I'm checking my reference photo. I have another beach painting that I did. It's got a cheeseburger on it, because it's cheeseburger in paradise. So if you wanted, you could put a cheeseburger here too. But for this one, they specifically turned down the cheeseburger and they want a nice Adirondack chair. So at some point I'm gonna have to look up what that looks like as well, because I'm prepped. Okay. So once I've got this rinsed off, I'm going to take a nice light blue. Now you can see I have two different color blues. Can you see that? You see how they're one's darker, one's lighter. I'm going to be using this slightly lighter, more vibrant blue. Yes, this is a condiment dispenser. You can get acrylic paint in tubes. That works good too. So I'm going to do the same thing with the water that I did with the sand. I'm just going to put a little blue and a little bit of white right on my brush at the same time. We are just going to start. Now as I go up to the top, I'm going to use this sort of nice gentle back and forth sort of X motion. And it'll give me the look of wispy clouds up here, which I kind of like. My brush wet. Now it's up to you how light or dark you want your sky, how much white you want to add, what shade of blue. You could even do a nice sunset. This could be a nice beach sunset, so you could add some of those colors, purples or oranges. If you mix purple and orange together, you're going to get brown though, so maybe don't mix those two together. But you could add oranges and yellows and purples if you wanted a sunset. So I know that my sky is going to go about a third of the way down, so we'll do just a little bit more of this. I'm going to make it just a little bit darker as I get toward the horizon here. Now you do not have to do this as fast as I'm doing it. You can really take your time when you paint this. You can go back in once it's dry and add a nice layer of fluffy pretty clouds and all kinds of fun stuff. We'll do a little bit of that today, but don't be afraid to really take your time. Pause what we're doing, pause me, and just take your time. Enjoy this process. I feel like I don't have good lighting. Hold on. Yeah, not even a little bit. All right. I'm backlit from my slider, so you get the whatever. All right, so I'm gonna do one more little line of my sky here. And then magically, this is going to turn into the ocean. Yep, just like that, just like magic. And you'll know that because I'm going to put a line right where my horizon line is. See? There. Let's smooth that a little bit. Okay. Now I'm going to do less of the wispy cloud look and more just really horizontal. If you wanted to add some waves or something, you absolutely can. I have a pretty calm ocean today, so this is like a little lagoon. very calm day. Don't be afraid to get your brush wet and use that. Helps it glide across the canvas. Helps everything blend really nicely. We're gonna add a little island over here later. All right, now as I get to this shore, I'm just going to take some really light blue. I'm just mixing some white and some blue together here. I use really basic colors. There's a lot more complex color mixing that you can do, but for what I do, I try to keep it really simple. Again, just because I teach classes on this, and they're real. I want to say basics, they're not basic, but they're fast classes. They're the sip and paint classes. So we keep it simple with our color mixing, but feel free to play with this a little bit. Add some different tones and colors to this, greens and different tones if you want to. Now I'm going to take my brush with this light blue. You notice I just painted over the edge of the brown, just the tiniest bit. Now I'm just going to take my brush, I'm just gonna wiggle it right here. It's that tide receding, right? Where it just kind of comes up a little bit. It looks just a little shiny. And we'll just kind of softly go over it just to give us that nice wet, shiny look there. A little bit of a shoreline. And rinse off your brush. I always make these videos and then I realize that it's the back of my head for most of it. And I did not do my hair for you today. Sorry. I actually think I'm on day 3 hair. So it's actually not that bad for day 3 hair. It's pretty good. Okay, we're gonna let this dry so we can paint our island over it. And you can step away and take a break too if you want, but we're just going to add a little half circle of white up here as our sun's going to be peeking out. This is daytime. If you're doing the sunset, obviously you're going to want to have your sun lower on the horizon, maybe going below the water line there. But for us, our sun's going to be right up here. So I'm going to plunk my brush down and just do a nice round shape here. If you just put it down and twist, you can get almost a perfect circle, which is kind of fun. And then I'm just gonna make it a little bit bigger. And then we'll just make some nice cloud shapes. I'm gonna have the clouds overlapping my sun. So I'm just gonna lay the basics of these down here now, so that when I add them later, this is on here, right? Because trying to put yellow over blue just makes green. But if I lay down this white base ahead of time, I can come back to that later. And it will make my job easier. I'm all about that. All about the cheats. Okay, so how are we doing? Yep, okay. All right, so an Adirondack chair is those really nice wooden ones. Is this dry? Let's do our island first. All right, so let's take our brown paint. We are going to find our horizon line here, and we're going to go just below it, maybe like a finger. I have like tiny child hands, so maybe you need more than a finger or less or whatever, but we are just going to make a nice brown line that goes out And then this is gonna curve up, and I love to give all my stuff sort of that, you know, the diamond head shape where it goes up and then down and then goes kind of back up again. We're just gonna do that. We're just gonna outline our little beach here. I'm adding a little bit of white to this just so that it really looks like sand. I'm gonna pause because I can hear my husband coming and I want to tell him, be quiet, I'm doing a video. Okay, I have just Googled images of Adirondack chairs silhouettes. So, sorry. That's sometimes a nice way to get inspiration, to get like the visual of what you're looking for. So I'm gonna look at one of these and kind of find the shape that I like best. A simple silhouette. Keep it simple when you're doing easily recognizable objects. Get out some nice green. I know I got the chair image ready. I just need that ready. I'm gonna add my green in a minute for the island. I'm using a bright, almost Kelly green, but I might mix in a little blue and a little brown, just to add a little bit of variation. I'm gonna go ahead and get out my Matthew McConaughey brush, my round brush. I'm just gonna dab the paint on here. This is far away, right? Dabbing it on, just giving it a little texture. I'm just gonna overlap and bleach just a little bit. You can mix in a little brown or a little blue or a little yellow, whatever you want, and I'm just gonna mix that in to give it a little bit of low light, little shadows. Yay, island or peninsula. Okay, so that's out there doing its thing. Add a little bit more detail to our water. I'm rinsing off my Magic Mike brush, my Channing Tatum. It's the dancing I like. Good rhythm. All right, little brush, and I'm gonna go in with some straight blue here. So I'm not scooping up the paint, I'm just brushing it on my brush like this. Brushing it on so it's really squishing the paint into the bristles and also pushing out any extra. I'm just gonna add, especially out here, I'm just gonna add some ripples in here, some waves, a little texture. We're gonna go back in with white and do this too. Now, the farther away you are, the smaller the marks are going to be, and the closer you are, the bigger they're going to be. This is just to add a little bit of visual interest. If your water already looks amazing and you're really happy with it, go for it. If you want to get real fancy and add some nice waves and shadows and highlights, do it. Take your time with this, enjoy it. We are just throwing these on here today. All right, so without rinsing my brush, I'm gonna dip it in just a little bit of white paint, just the littlest bit. I'm gonna start at the shore. I'm just gonna add some of these nice little white ripples. And the water is just catching the sunlight, just rippling in. Again, these should be horizontal marks, We're not doing angles, right? Nice back and forth horizontal. Water always finds a horizontal plane, right? Water always finds flat. So don't make your marks at an angle unless you're doing a wave. Do little waves around my island here. Okay, there. Now we got a little bit of something happening in the water, a little bit of something happening in the sand. So let's go ahead and add, we're gonna have a couple palm trees sticking out. Over here, I think. I'm gonna have one open out here. And have another one angling and going up. Looks like I just gave my island antennae. But no. Soon to be trees. Okay, I have my tiny brush. So that's what I've added those with, and then I'm just gonna dip that. It's already got brown on it. I'm just gonna dip it in a little bit of white. And I'm just gonna go over those trees again. I'm just gonna add a little bit of highlight. You can even add some dark brown little coconuts or something if you want to. All right, so I'm gonna add just a little bit more white paint for my chair. I think I'm gonna do it in white. All right, I'm gonna add my nice chair here. I'm gonna have a palm tree coming in, some leaves and just kind of overlapping. It's gonna hang down a little bit. So I wanna have my chair coming up to about halfway in the water. So that's what I'm gonna do. I haven't decided what color I want it, so I'm just gonna make it white for now, and then I can always add color if I want to. Gonna add the basics of this chair. They sit pretty low to the ground. It's hard for you to see because I'm doing it in white, but I just did this nice shape. From there, I'm gonna decide how high up it is. This is the base for the bottom. We'll go clean everything up in a minute, but just to lay out what we're doing, right in the middle, I'm gonna decide how high it is. correcting the height of these, just brushing a little blue because I decided it was too high. Okay, so I've got the outline. I've decided I'm going to do it red, I think. We'll make a nice chair. Huh? All right, so they've got these nice handles on them. Nice armrests, and then usually a nice piece of wood that goes behind them. Sure. All right, so we're going to let the coat of white dry. And we're going to work on our palm trees a minute. I'm going to add a little bit of green and blue on here, and I'm just going to go out here. Really letting the bristles do my work. It's out and just kind of brushing them on like that. And you can even go back in with your small brush and just add a few more details if you want. They're far away, so it's okay. All right, so we are going to get out our nice round brush, our Matthew McConaughey brush, and you can either switch to dark blue, or you can add a little bit of brown and green to your blue, and that will darken it also, or a little bit of red. That will darken it also. I lied. I'm gonna get dark blue out. Let's just do it right the first time, shall we, kids? Okay. All right, so taking my nice brush, caved, and put some dark blue on my plate, and just gonna put that on here. I'm just gonna draw a line from the corner all the way over my horizon line. So you see I've got this nice wavy line, and it's all the way over my horizon line with dark blue. And I'm just gonna start adding some of these palm fronds. Now, if you're in your bright green phase, and that would match your life and your decor better, definitely use some nice bright green. And we're going to do another one that just kind of curves down. We're going to overlap these branches. See, so they kind of crisscross and you really get a nice shadow. So these went this way first, and now I'm doing these. We're just going to take them right off the edge of the canvas here. I'm just throwing these on. I am not being so careful. And you can see the sky through them. If you want, if you're going to be doing the wrapped canvas look, obviously you're going to want to carry your paint all the way around. So you can always do that. Just kind of carry these around the edge if you want to. Gonna add a tiny bit of green. All right, now we have another one. It's going to go out and all the way over here. Okay. You can always start at the end. It's just kind of curving down. And we're only seeing one side of this, right? This one we're seeing both sides. And this top one we're just seeing sideways to us. So we've got this here, and we're just going to do these nice little palm fronds that come down this way, just on this angle here. And then I feel like these need to hang a lot lower. Some low hanging palm fronds. Again, it's okay for these to crisscross, right? And we want them to interact a little bit. brushing a little bit of brown maybe here. I didn't realize I was gonna do that, but sometimes when you just get in the zone, because we're creating a new master, I've never painted this before quite like this, so just decided to have some fun with it. And when I teach it, I'll be a little more succinct, but for now, you guys get to watch the creation. Huh? No? All right, we got a lot of blue happening here. I'm gonna add just a tiny bit of green up into here, just like I did. Some of these other ones. And then I'm gonna add some yellow for my clouds a minute. Remember we had, or for the sun, remember we did the sun up here? It's the tiniest bit. And again, I'm gonna use that same brush. A little magic mic in there. Remember, I'm going to respect where the line of the clouds is here. I'm actually going to add a little bit of white to this. This is a very, very vibrant yellow. Some of you may have a softer yellow. Mine's really bright. So I'm just going to tone that down just a little bit. I want it to be there, but not distracting. Now again, if you're feeling, if you want to add some reflections or some other stuff, go for it. I am not going to get that complex with things today. I probably could have added the clouds before we did our tree, so if you want to go backwards and do it, you can. I am not going to do that. All right, I am taking my big and brush, my rock brush, and I'm just going to add some more clouds. So I've got white on my brush and I've just literally dabbed it, and then I'm going to dab it on like this, tap, tap, tap. So I don't have a big clump of paint. It's all separated. And then I'm going to put, are you ready? Tiny bit. Just the corner of my brush into the dark blue paint. And actually, I'm going to wipe some of that blue off. I want just the tiniest bit, mostly white, tiny bit, blue side facing down. I'm just going to make some nice round marks, and this is going to give us some of those nice shadows that we want in our clouds. You can just brush a few more in here. You could have done this before too. I just forgot. Got carried away with my palm trees. I got excited about trees. All right, so I'm just kind of making these nice circle motions. Whoosh them off into the distance a little bit. Reclaim the edge by the sun here. Some low ones along the horizon. One of those beautiful days where the clouds just stretch out. There you go. Okay, little wispy clouds, got our sun. The last thing I'm going to do is add the red to the Adirondack chair. Let me just step back and make sure that's what I want to do. Yep. Oh! I know what would be fun. Let's add a tiny bit of yellow highlights. That'll be good. So the sun will be shining on these just a tiny bit. Yeah. Okay. Find some spot for some red here. If you feel like adding shadow and getting real detailed, you absolutely can. I am not going to demonstrate that today, but that doesn't mean that you can't do that. All right, add the shadow of the chair. We've kind of done that, darkening the sand underneath it. But if you want to add some shadows, or you want to add some shadow lines, like the sun's out here kind of behind, whatever you want to do, you go for it. You can really take your time with this and paint it nice. This is not the most beautiful Adirondack chair. It's a little wonky. Somebody rum drunk probably built it. All right, so, you know, because it's on an island and you're on vacation. All right, looks like a chair, right? Chair? I'm just cleaning up some of the blue to send the bar manager a picture of this. Put it all over their advertising, so I want it to look pretty. Okay. Once we're done with this, you can go back with a little bit of dark brown. Just kind of wiggle a little bit of shadow where you think it should go. And again, if you want to get real specific with it, go for it. I'm just darkening the sand just a little bit underneath it. Okay, there we have it. And barky dogs. Okay, here is our beautiful beach with Adirondack chair. I hope you had fun painting. Dogs, dogs. Shh. Come here, Jack, come here. Come here. Oh, it's you, it's Wilson. Here, help me say goodbye. Hey guys. Oh, this is baby Wilson. All right, so we hope you had fun painting this beautiful painting today. Yeah. Don't forget to like and subscribe to our Facebook channel. We have a website, theartoflife.info. We do local events in Michigan. So check that out. We have a Patreon with all that information on our YouTube channel as well, The Art of Life Guided Painting. So check us out all the places. I hope you had fun, and we'll see you soon. Okay, bye.